facts-finding. It's raw and undiluted, but inspiring and incisive. It's engaging at times, daring. On this table, the Political Roundtable, on Africa's Global Voice, Coal City Television, your interactive TV. It's all about political actions and reactions, views and events, persons and personalities, dribbles, the dribblers and the dribbled, causes and consequences. On Political Roundtable, we gauge the political climate and set the agenda for the players and for the people through thoughts and analysis. On Coal City Television, Fridays, Saturdays, Sundays and Mondays, 5 p.m. to 6 p.m. Join us.
Hello, good evening, and welcome to Nigeria Decides on Coal City Television. Of course, it's a program where we look at every aspect of politics in Nigeria and especially in Enugu State. Of course, today we are looking at politics as related to gubernatorial elections, which is taking place tomorrow, 18th of March 2023. We are looking at them as the campaigns have come to an end. We are looking at the possibilities and who is expected to win. What's the voice of the streets? Where does the street stand? Where does the people referred to as those in the grassroots, where do they stand? Because these people seem to be the people who decide the winners in individual polling units and, of course, in local governments and, of course, in statewide elections. I'm Wafo Joshua today, and I'm here on the program with Mr. Emmanuel. Welcome to the program. Tomorrow we are going to be voting in Enugu State, either PDP, Labour Party, APC or APGA, likely, and every other party, even ADC. As the campaign came to the close yesterday, how are you looking at the votes tomorrow?
Well, with the closure of campaign yesterday, I think things have really taken shape, different turn. And, the Labour Party had a chance. At a point, it seemed APGA, your Progressive Grand Alliance, it seemed at a point, they had a chance.
A chance.
Upon Tinubu's victory, it seemed the APC might have a chance.
There was a light on APC.
Yes. So, and after what happened on 25th in Enugu, it seems the chances of the PDP had come to an end. That was what it looks more like, But the extended campaign period, it's been 3 weeks, and the extended campaign period has given the PDP in Enugu State that chance to
fight back.
That chance to bounce back. And, it's looking more like they are a party to beat once more, because first of all, every campaign was targeted against the PDP, given less chance for concentration of other candidates. And in communication, we say that every PR is a positive PR. Whether people are saying you are an idiot, you've not done anything, you did this, you did that. The fact remains that the APC couldn't campaign without calling the PDP. The APGA couldn't campaign without calling the APC, the PDP. APC couldn't campaign, Labour Party couldn't campaign without calling the PDP. PDP virtually had to only just mention itself and once in a while mention other candidates.
Yeah.
But every political discussion involves
the PDP.
So that puts them in an
and the spotlight and an advantage.
And that spotlight, allowing people to be able to scrutinize, and they were able to turn the tide of campaign to some extent by trying to let people understand that it's not about the party, it's about candidates, it's about credibility. And talking about candidates and credibility, it's going to affect them in some House of Assembly positions where some House of Assembly members, people cannot really say or see what they've done.
The impacts while in governments.
Some House of Assembly contestants in the PDP are currently sitting local government chairmen And when people put side by side what they've done as local government chairman and sending them to the House of Assembly, they find out that there is an obvious gap that these people do not deserve to go back. One of such places is Iboise South local government in Enugu North senatorial zone, where the local government chairman,
Yeah.
who was once the Minister of Transport, who didn't really, get people's love as the Commissioner of
Commission
Transport, I meant to
transport, yeah.
say, didn't really get much love from the people as Commissioner of Transport. And when he became local government chairman, it was a way that people felt like he excommunicated the youth,
Okay, the
you know,
youth.
and he was a one man. He was running a one man show, and people weren't really seeing, his
As part of the
handworks.
government
He
and dividends of
wasn't working
democracy.
well in terms of governance, and in terms of politics, he wasn't really relating well to people. And then he clinched the House of Assembly ticket. So there are a lot of gang-ups. So he's one of the people that PDP looking forward to losing their position, since they've touted the idea of competence, citing that there are a lot of indications so showing that their Guba candidate is
His
competent.
competence.
And what is good for the goose is good for the gander.
And if you use the competent ruler to draw the line,
If you draw the
there
line,
might
you
be
draw people
you
like
draw
him
off some
out.
people.
Yes, you draw people like him out. But the PDP, in their calculation, may have seen that let's go for the big animal.
And leave the birds.
Let's get the elephant. The rabbit can escape. Let's get the elephant. Then when we get the elephant, maybe we can use one of the elephant ears to even
To substitute
do
for the
3 or 4
rabbit.
rabbits. So that's the calculation of the PDP. And I think at this point in time, the PDP is having what I call upper hand in tomorrow's election, and that is not just based on whether the candidate is competent or not, but it was based on the political calculations that bettered the candidacy of Mr. Peter Ndubuisemba. Remember, during that time there were 17 candidates contesting for Guba, and it had to take Ifeanyi Ugwuanyi a very long time to be able to settle on one candidate. And we have to find out that he calculated a lot of things. He had to first of all look for people that are marginalized. He has to also look for people that have the numbers. He has to also look for people that have the finances. He has to also look for people that can be acceptable to the populace, knowing the times that we are in. So he psyched all these things and was able to pick out the candidacy of Mr. Pitamba. And also, he had to also look at the age, because youthful population. I think Mr. Pitamba and Mr. Beloved Ananeke were the youngest in that team, and I think Beloved Ananeke just a year or two older than Mr. Pitamba. So it fits perfectly. Mr. Pitamba is 51 years now. When Governor Ugwuanyi took over office, he too was 51 years. He'll be 59 years in 2 days or 3 days time. So making it such that this person is going to complete his tenure before he hits 60. And then most of the people who are contesting with him are either above. I think it's only Frank Mweke that is just about 57. Then the other guy is 61.
61, yeah.
Is above
59 or something.
Around that same age. So he also took cognizance of age, exposure, knowledge, all that. And Pitamba became the beautiful bride, and it's because he is the beautiful bride that is why it became easy to market him, on the mantra of competence.
But when we talk of competence, especially in Enugu politics, what does it actually mean? I'm talking on these Guba candidates now, measuring them on the platter of competence. What does it really entail? Is it the success in their private lives or in their businesses? Or is it competence as regards to government? Mr. Pitamba has barely been in government for about 3 years. Because if we check from who has been longer in government in measuring competence, we'll say it's the LP candidate, Chijioke Edoga, who has been in power for over 30 years.
We are not talking about competence. Competence is different from experience.
Okay.
Competence means your ability to take on a task and deliver it effectively.
Okay. tax relating to politics or every other tax?
We are looking at you judge people based on what they do. You know,
For a candidate like Mr. Chijoke Dog of the LP, who has consecutively been in power, been winning and been getting appointments for over 30 years,
in the Igbo
isn't he
lexicon,
competent in winning elections?
see, in Igbo lexicon, we say that ihe onye na-eme ka eji mara ya.
Yes.
You know, you don't bring somebody like Lionel Messi, you know, and you say Lionel Messi should come and test his competence with TV presentation in English language, you know, and because of that, you say that I am better than Lionel Messi. You know, that's total buckham. You know, in his profession, he's the best. You know, and when it comes to my profession, I am not even anywhere close to the best. So when you bring, because he's the best in his profession, and you bring him to my own profession where I am nowhere close to being the best, and because I am now better than him because he's in a place he does not know, you now say that I am more
He doesn't even
competent.
understand the terrain.
And you now say that I'm more, no, it doesn't work that way. You know, you have to measure footballers with football.
Okay.
You know, how is he able to manage, you know, check the club he's going to pick first of all, you know, the position he's going to play. These are the things people don't get to calculate. Is this person going to choose whether he's going to be a winger, whether he's going to be a striker, whether he's going to be a goalkeeper, a defender, a midfielder, right winger, left winger, all these things. Then when the person settles on the position here, he or she likes to play in, then you begin to judge his performances. You know, how he tries to stay out of injury. All these things are calculations that are involved in football management. You check how you try to stay out of injury because you may be the best, but because you usually put your leg where people will break it, you know, you may never get enough playing time. And because you play only 20 matches in a season, you are never going to get anywhere. So all those things are part of calculations. You also have to have a good, you know, human relationship, good relationship with the owners of the club, good relationship with your coach, good relationship with your fitness coach,
and your ability to change to adapt to changing
of
circumstances.
course, your ability to also relate with your teammates, have good relationship with teammates, so that you know they can get to pass ball to you, and even when you have ball and you pass to them, they can want to make good use of it, and they not see you as an enemy within. You have to also have a certain good relationship with the opponent, so that the opponent will not leave the ball and start tackling your leg because maybe you talk to him somehow and you say, okay, let me get a red card. I missed 2 matches, but you are going to miss 6 moves. So, something like that, you know. These are part of the calculations. So in politics, when you want to talk of competence, you measure people by what they've done. So in Peter Mbah, you measure Peter Mbah by what has he been able to do in the sector he chose. So when you say this person has been a commissioner, as a commissioner of finance, was he able to do well? As a chief of staff,
how did he deliver?
to do well? You know, does he have, you know, chief of staff is not loyal to the state. He is loyal to his boss. So as a chief of staff, what are the kind of comments his boss have to make about him? You know, as a commissioner of finance, what was the state of Enugu state finances when he was commissioner? You measure him with that. Then when he entered into business, how has he been able to fare? You know, as a CEO, has he led this company to bankruptcy? Has he led this company into problem, or has he led this company into success? What is his employee-worker relationship? What does his employees have to say about him? What does the board members that he is answerable to have to say about the person they put in charge of this company? These are the things you pieces up together, and you find out that is this person able to deliver on the task given to him. So when people look at Peter Mbah, they look at somebody that, okay, you know, you stopped being somebody's chief of staff, as you know. I think it was in 2004 that he stopped being the chief of staff and then became a commissioner of finance. And since that 2004 till 2023, that is about 19 years, you still have a very good relationship with your boss, which means you have a good track record. You've been able to set yourself straight there. In area of finances, no other commissioner of finance in Nigeria has been, interrogated, analyzed the way Peter Mbah has been able to, go through the hands of the EFCC, the ICPC, and all kinds of, agencies in Nigeria. And he was never convicted of any case. So if such a person has been tested and tried on all angles,
every parameter,
then when they get to the company he is managing, he has been able to look at this company, and at this stage he registered this company, early in 2004, in 2003. Then he went into government, and then came back to the company later in 2008 after he left the government, and built it from a small group to a multi-billion naira company. So if the company is operating and the company is going well, then people expect him that he has relative experience, because he has been able to handle this task and deliver.
Yeah.
Then when you bring the person of Frank Nweke, people have also touted him to be competent. Frank was also a chief of staff to Mr. Chimaroke Nnamani, and it happened that they've had a very, very good relationship. He worked well. It was because he was a good chief of staff that he was recommended to become a minister.
Yes.
And in his ministerial position, he delivered effectively well. He was put into 3 different ministries, and in those 3 different ministries, he delivered very well. He has handled a private organization, and he has been able to grow the private organization into something substantial. He has found himself as a board member in several international organizations, and he has been able to deliver well. He has been in non-profit organizations, and he has done well. He joined in the fight against malaria. He did excellently well. So when people look at him, they see also modicum of competence, because they see that if this person was able to handle these things creditably, then he can
be trusted with other things.
Do something in this area. Then when you go to the candidacy of Uche Nnaji, people do not see how to really assess him. Why are people finding it difficult to assess him? Because while everybody can dig up everything about Peter Mbah from the time he was in secondary school to when he went abroad, and when he came back, his law school, his NYSC, somebody like Uche Nnaji has become very, very economical. We only see that he's a businessman. Business, what type of business is he doing? He's not the only businessman. Peter Mbah is a businessman. Before Ifeanyi Ugwuanyi got into politics, he was a businessman. He was into insurance, and he was known everywhere. The history are there. He, as the head of insurance, he also, brought in Rotary Club, and he was their chief patron. So you have this person's history. Before Chimaroke became governor, he was a medical doctor.
He had a history, yeah.
Yeah, he had a perfect history that everybody could look into. People said he was one of the best gynecologists at that time, but some people are saying that he cannot even handle a needle. But that's a different case. Sullivan Chime, people knew his antecedents. As a renowned lawyer, he became the Commissioner of Information, Commissioner of Justice, and Attorney General of the state. He was able to deliver creditably on that position, that led to his boss thinking that he should be able to become a good state governor. So he had his history, his antecedents. When it comes to Uche Nnaji, people begin to think, you people said this person is a businessman. What type
of business does he do?
If you're saying that business is business, what type of business? Is he the owner of an oil company? If he's the owner of an oil company, he's not the only person that owns oil companies.
What's the name?
We have Atlas Petroleum Limited. You have if he's a maker, you have the Chrome group of companies. So what kind of business are you doing? Some people are saying that he's building a factory. The factory he's building is, just as you said, it's in progress, and it's going to be ready, we pray, very soon. But those are not the things you've been doing for the past 20 years.
What gave you money to build a factory?
You're almost 60 years. How have you been doing the business? What business have you been doing? This is what people are lacking, and that is why nobody is really talking about competence when it comes to Uche Nnaji, because you don't know what to judge him with. Then when it comes to Chijioke Edoga, you have something to judge him with. He was a chief press secretary, and then he became a local government chairman, and then he went to House of Representatives, and then from there he became you know, an aide to Senator Ike Ekweremadu,
Yeah.
and from being an aide to Senator Ike Ekweremadu, he became an aide to the president, and then became a two-term commissioner under Governor Ifeanyi Ubah. And the issue there is that people have been trying to find out. It's not a must. Okay, Doga must run a private organization to say that he's success. No, I don't believe in that. People can be civil servants. People can be public servants. You know, people can be artists. People can do whatever they want. Everybody mustn't be an entrepreneur before the person is considered a good leader. It's about what you've been able to do
to achieve what you are doing.
So the question is, while he was the chairman of issues of local government, what were the blueprints? How did he improve the fortunes of issues of local government within those period? It's a case. What does his boss have to say against him or in favor of him,
yeah,
when he was chief press secretary? Currently, you know, he's the Labour Party candidate. His boss is the chief, is the chief campaigner of Atiku campaign organization in the PDP in Enugu State. These are conflicting interests. Okwuimodo is leading he was leading the campaign before the elections for the Atiku campaign. Then when you think about that, you bring to bear also being an aide to Ike Ekweremadu and being an aide to, Goodluck Jonathan. We could have heard a word from either of these two.
Yes.
To say that this is my person. When he was aide to me, he was doing this, that for me, and I think you should just give him the opportunity. Goodluck Jonathan could have said one or two things, but from all indication, it seems like Goodluck Jonathan does not even know that one of his aides is contesting for governor. So that tells you a lot. And as the commissioner of local government in Enugu State for 4 years, what were the changes brought to the local government system in Enugu State? Found out that the local government system wasn't really something to write home about, because there were so many issues ranging from land-related issues that the local government had, which led to the sacking of the commissioner for lands. It's related to the land ownership tussle between the Ministry of Land and the local government employers. Then a lot of issues emanated from there. The issue of the local government staff not being paid minimum wage and things related to that. I think it's only the local government staff, which included the primary school teachers and other people working in the local government. They were the only set of people that had issues. The local government workers, local government primary school teachers, local government pensioners, all those people had issue. They were the only set of people that had issue of salaries under the Ugwuanyi administration. It's either they are not getting the minimum wage or that the pensions. It got to a point that he was not, sent back to that ministry. Rather, Chukwuemeka Mama was now sent to that ministry of local government to look into it before the current Peter Okonkwo now took over that ministry. Now, talk about environment. Let's assume that Eswama is not under his care. Let's put that one aside. Has Enugu State environment been really any better since then? It's a big question. I remember, at a point wanting to move a movement around what was being done in Obimo by a Chinese firm, which was conflicting with the environment. I know it's not really that popular here to talk about depletion of ozone layer, all these, weather-related issue, environmental factor, degradation, and it's not really a topical issue here, but when we don't take such things serious, we do not know when the sun here is becoming too much. We do not know when we started. I think it was sometime in 2007, 2008 that we had acid rain that prevented us from eating cocoyam and achicha. And we don't know the things that led to such things. So when you analyze Idoga on that, you find out that people cannot confidently or comfortably say that as Commissioner of Environment, you know, things really improve.
I
in
used to
Enugu
beg the
State.
question when he says that Eswama wasn't directly under his control as the Commissioner for Environment. It now brings me to ask, okay, what was he in charge of as Commissioner for Environment, and what did he do? Since this one that we think is under your ministry wasn't under you, so which one are you in charge of, and how far did you go with what you think you were in charge of?
Let's say, you know, there are different ways things are done. For instance, you know, when there are too much bureaucratic bottleneck, some agencies are separated from ministries to be handled differently. Now, let's assume that Eswama was separated so that the director of Eswama takes full responsibility. As a Commissioner of Environment, you're supposed to look at, it's not just Eswama is Waste Management Authority. So what they are really after is to provide things for the people to put the waste, charge people, then, you know, collect the waste, dispose it, bring back basket. But every other aspect of the environment, leading from erosion, you know, mountain issues and mountain fallings and the rest of them, environmental degradation, like I mentioned. I remember at a point this particular one was happening in early 2020. I was a person, I sent a letter to that ministry complaining about what the Chinese were doing and how they were loading down trees and not replanting them, and putting people into so much suffering, forcing people to work for about 16 hours a day and paying them a salary of 15,000 naira, where they, you know, face the hard work of burning wood till they become charcoal, then crush it, arrange it in waterproof, put them in cartons, seal them, and put them, you know, in what do they call it? This big vehicle.
Trucks.
You know, it's not necessarily truck trailers. Yeah, and you know, package them in trailers. When you see these people coming back with the trees they lushed down from the places like Obimo, you know, and also one, you find out that, you know, the place these people are coming out with these trees, you find out they carry more than 500-600 trees, and you imagine how the forest area where they load down these trees are from, and you know that they have not planted the new ones, and that is creating, you know, very hazardous impact on the economy, on the environment down there, so that we lose wildlife, you know, we lose a lot. And these things we have
we expect Commissioner for Environment to address.
Yes, we've not. I think, yeah, I have to defer to him, because at the point, there was a time they released a memo about people who were building houses at the hill in camp and its possibility of causing a mudslide that area. I think that they released a memo warning people not to do something there. But you know, when you go there, you see that houses are still sprouting up on that.
And people are still constructing.
I was at one of those hills. We went for our normal Saturday hiking, and there was one at one of those buildings, hills, and you saw that those places that used to be like a forest reserve, where, you know, we go for our hike so that we take away some time from the city to go and refresh. You find out that people's houses are already there. We have to go. In fact, for us to climb the fence, you hill, we have to jump the fence of somebody that is building a house. So we are losing our way up to the hill because people are building. So you when you bring this to bear, you cannot really see something remarkable that he did as a commissioner when we talk about the education in Enugu State, we talk about that under NSUBEB, 1,700 buildings were renovated, constructed, some reconstructed, well equipped, and all that. When you talk about science and technology, you know that 2 tech hubs were built under this administration. And when you talk about health, you know that 7 type C hospitals were built, about 5 general hospitals were built for local government, including Polyclinic, the one at 2D, the one at Enugu, the one at Aban. You also talk about the infectious disease hospital built at Colonial Avenue, in close to New Market there. Then you talk about different ministries, and you can point at those people in these ministries. They've been able to do this, they've been able to do that. We hear about them, we hear about what they do, we see what they do, and we see the effect of these ministries. ENSA is always, they're always there troubling people. That these people are working. The Ministry of Transport, before you beat the traffic, you have to look to see if there is a vehicle that will chase you. You see that this ministry is active.
It's active, yes.
Some of this, but this one you just don't see, you just don't know. So this is how people.
A lot of people knew that there's a ministry of there was a commissioner or a ministry of environment only after he resigned. Actually,
yes, that is it. So people begin to wonder, what were you really doing in these ministries? What was your handwork when you were in this ministry? What were the landmarks? How did you run this ministry so that people get to know that there is a ministry? The Ministry of Youth and Sports is always there. People, doing this. Ministry of Art and Culture, you go down to Opera Square there, and you see that 1 or 2 things have been done. You go to what's its name again? Nikelek Hotel. You see the beautification of arts, masquerades, everything done around the lake and everything in that hotel. You see that the hotel was re-upgraded to a 5-star hotel. The Ministry of Investment, Commerce and Industry, you go to 9th Mile and you see the free trade zone and the way it has been built. You know that there is a ministry doing this. There is a ministry doing this. Even the Ministry of Women and Gender Affairs, they were able. I think Enugu State was the first state to give credence to this child right law and everything. They were able to build. There is this center they build where women who have issues go to complain. It's around Abani Road. You see that they too we are doing something. So, but the question now beckons, you as the Ministry of Environment,
what have you been doing?
What have you been able to do?
Okay, as that question beckons, I would like us to go to another part of this program, because it seems the people are no longer looking at these things to decide who they are going to vote tomorrow. The people are more of why should we vote the PDP, or let's turn to a new leaf. Let's give another party a trial. It mustn't be the PDP. Why some people are saying no, the PDP have done exceptionally well and we are going to continue with the PDP. But the question I would like you to answer, especially on the second part of this program, is why do you think the people should continue with the PDP? Dear viewers, these are the questions we are going to be asking and answering on the second part of this program. Do stay with us as we go on this very quick break.
Cultural diversity. A single event generates divergent views and opinions. Some moderate, others extreme. With expectations from the people and responsibilities of
enough is enough. We are not second-class citizens of this country.
Why does anybody need to threaten us and cajole us and intimidate us?
Yet dynamic. It's deep digging and facts finding. It's raw and undiluted, but inspiring and incisive. It's engaging, at times daring. On this table, the political round table, on Africa's Global Voice, Cool City Television, your interactive TV. It's all about political actions and reactions, views and events, persons and personalities, dribbles, the dribblers and the dribbled, causes and consequences. On Political Roundtable, we gauge the political climate and set the agenda for the players and for the people through talks and analysis on Co City Television, Fridays, Saturdays, Sundays and Mondays, 5 p.m. to 6 p.m. Join us. It comes as straight talk.
Enough is enough. We are not second-class citizens of this country.
Why does anybody need to threaten us and cajole us and intimidate us?
Yet dynamic.
Welcome back. Of course, we are still on Nigeria Decides on Coast TV. As we were saying before the short break, Mr. Zoba, I asked a question like, why should the people of Enugu State continue with the PDP? Or if you think otherwise, that they should consider another party, which party specifically, and why should they leave the PDP for that party? Or why should they continue with the PDP?
You know, what the PDP was able to do in the last 3 weeks is to convince people not to think about parties, but to think about candidates. That is the biggest win the PDP have been able to do, because truth be said, a lot of people are not happy with PDP. You know, that name PDP, a lot of people, even people in the PDP, feel bad that, you know, when it's the turn of an Igbo man to contest for president under the PDP platform, the PDP refused and instead drew up Atiku Abubakar. And that was shown in the body language of the governor and everybody in the PDP in Enugu State, in the Southeast, and how they severed ties with Atiku Abubakar, the national body of PDP. So the national body of PDP is not in good consonance with the state body of PDP. So things are not really going well, and that's because the PDP in Enugu cannot just say, okay, let's move to another party, you know, because elections are already at hand, so they couldn't do anything. So, but they'll be able to manage to separate the PDP from their candidates, and that is the message they've been passing across since 3 weeks now. And this extended period was a very, very big boost to the PDP, because it helped a whole lot. It helped them to separate. It helped them to build bridges, to get people, a lot of reasonable people.
Why are they trying to convince people to vote person and not party? Is the party bad now? Does it mean the persons the party has been presenting for governance weren't up and doing?
It's not about the persons. It's about the mood of the nation. The mood of the nation is against the PDP. It's against the APC. You know, because not on whether they have a good candidate or not, but the mood of the Igbo person, Igbo man, is that PDP is supposed to produce an Igbo man as its presidential candidate. And for that singular reason alone, even if he's not an Igbo man, the PDP is supposed to produce a Southerner, because it is the turn of a Southerner to produce the president of the nation, according to the zoning formula, according to federal character, according to everything reasonable, the PDP is supposed to produce a Southerner as a presidential candidate. And because it didn't, that is what caused the bad blood between the PDP and every other person, including some people in the PDP. So the idea of selling PDP instead of selling your candidate is going to affect your candidate. So what they cashed in on is this period of time to use it to sell that, see,
The person
forget about
behind
the
the flag.
PDP. Let's go for this person. So they've managed to a great extent to separate the party
From the
from the
individual.
individuals involved. And it became, you begin to hear more of Peter Mba, Edoga, Peter Mba, Edoga.
In a country of over 200 million people, with its ethnic, religious, and cultural diversity, a single event generates divergent views and opinions, some moderate, others extreme. With expectations from the people and responsibilities of the government, there is always an outpour of emotions, views, and analysis from all angles. On this space, your space, we bring these views together to harmonize them in such a way that you can understand the societal issues on ground. So join us on Your Space every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday on Cool City Television, where we allow you to air your views on these societal matters. Remember, it's your space, your opinion, and your voice.
Welcome back. Yeah, Mr. Zuba, you were saying something.
Yeah, I say that the Labour Party, they fell into the trap laid by the PDP because the PDP, their game plan was to disassociate their candidates from the party so that people can have an eye for the candidate and not an eye. You see the recent posters they printed it without the party, without the logo. In fact, they went for a different color altogether. They went for purple. So it became purple and white. They wanted to differentiate.
But on elections day, it's going to be the party that's running for the elections.
No, it's more like the mind. The people have been able to, they've been able to cash in because the first Labour Party, a good number of Labour Party people, to admit that Peter Mba is a good candidate and that PDP is bad. So that if you bring back Peter, if you bring Peter Mba, Peter Mba will bring in the PDP. So by doing that, people now had the view that, oh, this guy, which means he's a better candidate now. Yes, he's but he's a better candidate now. So the idea of selling that, it has leveled the ground. How has it leveled the ground? Because every other indices are in favor of Peter Mba. From the indices of making sure that the zoning formula is maintained, which is the only thing that is going to give Enugu West, another shot at the
governorship
gubernatorial position. So the idea of Nkanu retaining the position gives the Enugu West people a hope, and that is why the Enugu West will now have to back
The
with
PDP.
the PDP. Then, when the PDP membership across all the zones of local governments cast their vote for their candidate, which is Peter Mba, it brings everything level. And then when you talk about people in the Enugu North senatorial zone, a good number of people have come to identify that this person is a better candidate. So, by so doing, they are now going to make sure that the Labour Party does not win with a landslide. Winning with a landslide is what would have made Peter Mba to lose the election. You understand? Because if Edoga wins with a landslide in Enugu North senatorial zone and wins with a landslide in issues of local government, it is going to really be tough for Peter Mbah to win.
Yeah.
But when the votes of Enugu North senatorial zone is cut short, that they don't win with a landslide and they win with something like 60-40 or 70-30, it becomes, a level playing field. So once that landslide idea has been cut, which has been cut because when you get the number of people that want to vote for competence and then you add it with the number of people who are party loyalists and the party structure across and those they are able to influence, you'll be able to get the exact number of people that will ensure that it will not be a landslide victory for the Labour Party in that Enugu senatorial zone. And then in Nkanu East and Nkanu West local governments, it's going to be a landslide. In Enugu East, Enugu South, and Enugu North local governments, it's going to be a tug of war because a lot of people are involved, including Frank Nweke this time around.
Yes.
So when the ties are drawn in between, the votes are going to be shared. So when PDP is winning with a very low margin. Then it now becomes on Enugu West, which a good number of them are looking forward to maintaining the rotational government that will this time around ensure
that in the next 8 years it comes to their zone.
They win the election. And also ensure also that they get the speakership position.
Yes.
It's better to control one arm of the government than to be a subordinate in one arm of the government.
Yeah.
And somebody in Enugu West has been picked by the Labour Party to be a deputy governorship candidate. And that deputy governorship candidate picked in Enugu West senatorial zone. He is not really somebody that has the capacity to deliver even his word when the case his name is a very, very virgin name to Enugu State politics. So he does not really have that much influence. So the people in Enugu West looking forward to getting the speakership position will make sure that not just will they get the speakership position, but also will they now be able to ensure that after these people, let's stand on this zoning formula so that when it's our turn, we will get problem. So it's going to be in that way. So if PDP wins in Enugu West senatorial zone and wins, in Enugu East senatorial zone, and make sure that there is no landslide victory in Enugu North senatorial zone, Peter Mbah is going to win. But that is also going to greatly cost them, because the PDP a good number of House of Assembly members who are going to be trashed out by the election.
I'm going to require Labour Party candidates.
Of course. And as politics goes, this is just my chip in the bag, because Labour Party, they are going to elect a lot of House of Assembly members. Unfortunately, those House of Assembly members will get into the House and affect the PDP.
Unfortunately, these people will still do what politicians do best: play politics of interest, personal interest, so to say. Of course, at this point, we call it a day here on Coal City TV, and a week too, because today is Friday, and of course, the program runs Mondays to Fridays, 5 p.m. to 5:30 p.m. during the weekdays. Thank you so much for staying with us today and throughout this week. See you again next week, Monday, on Nigeria Decides on Coal City Television. Thank you and goodbye.
In a country of over 200 million people, with its ethnic, religious, and cultural diversity, a single event generates diversity.